This is a gift to you, America, the Constitution of the United States, by memory. Amendment 18, January 16th, 1919. After 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within, the importation thereinto, and the exportation thereof from the United States and all such territories subject to a jurisdiction thereof for budget purposes is hereby prohibited. The Congress and the several states shall have concurrent part in force this article by appropriate legislation. This article should be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislatures of the several states as provided in the Constitution within 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the states by the Congress. Amendment 19, August 18, 1920. The right of citizens of the United States to vote should not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Congress shall have power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Amendment 20, January 23rd, 1933. The terms of the President and Vice President shall end at noon on the 20th day of January, and the terms of the Senators and Representatives at noon on the 3rd day of January. Of the years in which such terms would have ended if this article had not been ratified, and the terms of their successors shall then begin. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting should begin at noon on the 3rd day of January. If at the time fixed for the beginning of the term of the President-elect should have died, the Vice President-elect should become President. If a President should not have been chosen before the time fixed for the beginning of his term, or if a President-elect should have failed to qualify, then the Vice President-elect shall act as President until a President shall have qualified. And the Congress may by law provide for the case where neither a President-elect nor a Vice President-elect shall have qualified, declaring who shall then act as President and a manner in which one to act shall be selected. And such person shall act accordingly until a President or Vice President shall have qualified. The Congress may by law provide for the case of the death of any of the persons to whom the House of Representatives shall choose a President whenever the right of choice shall devolve upon them, and for the case of the death of any of the persons to whom the Senate shall choose a Vice President whenever the right of choice shall devolve upon them. Section 1 and Section 2 shall take effect on the 15th day of October following the ratification of this article. This article should be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of its submission. Amendment 21, December 5th, 1933. The 18th article of amendment to the Constitution of the United States is hereby repealed. The transportation or importation into any state, territory, or possession of the United States for delivery or use therein of intoxicating liquors in violation of the laws thereof is hereby prohibited. This article should be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by conventions in the several states as provided in the Constitution within 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the states by the Congress. Amendment 22, ratified February the 27th, 1951. No person should be elected to the office of the President more than twice, and no person who has held the office of President or acted as President for more than 2 years of the term to which some other person was elected President should be elected to the office of the President more than once. But this article should not apply to any person holding the office of President when this article was proposed by the Congress. It should not prevent any person who may be holding the office of President or acting as President during the term within which this article becomes offered from holding the office of President or acting as President during the remainder of such term. This article should be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislature of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of the submission hereof to the states by the Congress. Amendment 23, March 29th, 1961. The district constituting the seat of the government of the United States shall appoint in such manner as the Congress may direct a number of electors of President and Vice President equal to the whole number of senators and representatives in Congress to which the district would be entitled if it were state, but in no event more than the least populous state. They should be in addition to those appointed by the states, but they should be considered for the purposes of the election of President and Vice President to be electors appointed by the state, and they should meet in the district and perform such duties as provided by the 12th article of amendment. The Congress shall have part in force this article by appropriate legislation. Amendment 24, January 23rd, 1964. The right of citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president, for electors for president or vice president, for senators or representatives in Congress shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state by failure to pay any poll tax or other tax. Amendment 25, February the 10th, 1967. In case of the removal of the president from office or of his death or resignation, the vice president shall become president. Whenever there is a vacancy in the office of the vice president, the president shall nominate a vice president who shall take office upon confirmation by a majority vote of both houses of Congress. Whenever the president transmits to the President pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits to them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties should be discharged by the Vice President as acting President. Whenever the Vice President and the majority of the principal officer of the executive departments, or such other bodies Congress may by law provide, transmits to the President pro tem of the Senate and Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the Vice President shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting President. Thereafter, when the President transmits to the President pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers and duties of his office, unless the Vice President and the majority of the principal officer of the executive department, or such other bodies Congress may by law provide, transmits within 4 days to the President pro tem of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. Thereupon, Congress shall decide to issue, assembling within 48 hours for that purpose if not in session. If the Congress within 21 days after receipt of the latter declaration, or if Congress is not in session within 21 days after Congress is required to assemble, determines by 2/3 vote of both houses that the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the Vice President shall continue to discharge the same as acting President. Otherwise, the President shall resume the powers and duties of his office. Amendment 26, July 1st, 1971. The right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote should not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age. The Congress shall pardon for this article by appropriate legislation. And Amendment 27, May 7, 1992. No law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until an election of representatives shall have intervened. This was the Constitution with the 27 amendments. This Constitution is our blueprint, and it's a law, supreme law, not to be broken. Vote! Please vote for the person that will respect the Constitution. God bless America!